Baladev Subramanian ki
Jai.
Shri Gauritai ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Okay. We apologize for the circumstances. Somehow there was some misunderstanding amongst the acharyas with the schedule. That's why we're late. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Chana Vallabha Girivardhari Chana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivardhari Chana Girivardha Yashodanandana Prachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prachachana Ranjana Danandana Prachachana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Tiravanachari Jayarata Madhava Kunja Vihari Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Udiraye Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtikir. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, verse 31. How are we doing with the language? Is there some... okay. Yeah. So this is Canto 5, Chapter 1, Text 31. And there's not such a clear meter to chant, so I will just read the shloka and then we go to word by word. Yeva huha tad arata charan nemi krita parikataste saptaha sindava asana yatta eva krita sapta bhuva na dvipaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When Priyavrata drove his chariot behind the sun, the rims of his chariot wheels created impressions that later became 7 oceans, dividing the planetary system known as Bhumandala into 7 islands. Purport. Sometimes the planets in outer space are called islands. We have experience of various types of islands in the ocean, and similarly the various planets divided into 14 lokas or islands in the ocean of space. As Priyavrata drove his chariot behind the sun, he created 7 different types of oceans and planetary systems, which altogether are known as Bhu-mandala or Bhuloka. In the Gayatri Mantra we chant Om Bhurbhuva Svatat Savitur Varinyam. Above the Bhuloka planetary system is Bhuvarlok, and above that is Svargalok, the heavenly planetary system. All these planetary systems are controlled by Savita, the sun god. By chanting the Gayatri Mantra just after rising early in the morning, one worships the sun god. Om Jnanatimirandasya Kananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Namo Bistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svakvanam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Papanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, get the text again. When Priyavrata drove his chariot behind the sun, the rims of his chariot wheels created impressions that later become 7 oceans divided in the planetary system known as Bhumandala into 7 islands. Hare Krishna. So we are here in the 5th canto, and the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam will in detail describe the cosmology or all the different planetary system in the universe. It's quite a complex topic, and of course Prabhupada did give his purports and explanation to it. But even Prabhupada at some points, in some purports, he simply gives the Vishnu Thakur's translation without further commenting on it, because it's really a subject matter which is hard to really explain and to translate or understand. So I won't go too much into Bhumandala, the 7 islands, this morning. First of all, I'm not really prepared for this class, and second, it's quite technical. But just what happened here, Priyavrata once, because this chapter describes also the wonderful activities of Priyavrata. And Priyavrata, he was able to do unimaginable, amazing things. So here is described that Priyavrata once became dissatisfied with the movement of the sun god around Mount Sumeru, as he lit up half the surface of the earth while the other half remained dark. That's usually how it is, right? on one part of the planet there is day and the other is night. That's usually how it is. But Premarupa was not satisfied with this, so he made some adjustment. Premarupa followed the orbit of the sun god on a brilliant chariot and thus fulfilled his desire of making night into day. He could perform such wonderful activities by dint of his worship of the Lord. So he just kind of went in outer space with his chariot and created another sun and give light. And then in this shloka is described that when Premarupa drove his chariot behind the sun, the rims of his chariot wheels created impressions that later became 7 oceans, divided the planetary system known as Bhumandala into 7 islands. Okay, now we're all nicely confused, so we just leave it at that. And of course, if you study the 5th canto, you get some understanding, a little bit, about the 7 islands, Bhumandala, and so on. But this morning, Prabhupada in the purport mentions the Gayatri Mantra. Prabhupada says, in the Gayatri Mantra we chant Om Bhurbhuva Svatat Savitur Varenyam. And then Prabhupada says, by chanting the Gayatri Mantra just after rising early in the morning, one worships the sun god. So maybe we can try to talk a little bit about the importance of a Gayatri Mantra and chanting mantras in general. And that might be a little more relevant to us than the 9 islands. So, first of all, when we look at Bhakti Yoga, or the process of devotional service, there is basically 2 main aspects or 2 ways to perform approaching the Lord, and Prabhupada himself makes this statement here. There are 2 different ways of approaching the Supreme Lord. One is called Bhagavad Marga, or the way of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the other is called Pancharatrika Vidhi. Pancharatrika Vidhi is the method of temple worship, and the Bhagavad Vidhi is the system of 9 processes which begin with hearing and chanting. And the Krishna conscious movement accepts both processes simultaneously and thus enables one to make steady progress on the path of self-realization towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have one is the Bhagavad Vidhi. That's what we, Prahlad Maharaj explains to his father Hiranyakashipu what he learned in school, and he says Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Parasevanam, Vandanam, Archanam, Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. These 9 processes of devotional service: hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, and offering prayers, worshipping Him, being engaged in the mission, making friendship and surrendering to the Lord. So these are usually, especially the hearing and chanting, remembering Krishna, these are the daily activities that we do in the Bhagavad Vidhi: hearing and chanting, remembering Krishna. And that's the path which is described in the Bhagavatam as bhakti, the process of bhakti. But then we also have the Pancharatrika Vidhi, which is mainly the whole temple worship that's going on. And that's described in the Pancharatrika Vidhi system or Shastra by Narada Muni. And we see, although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to propagate the Yuga Dharma, which is the chanting of the holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is Bhagavad Vidhi, at the same time, he also requested the 6 Goswamis to establish temples in Vrindavan. And the Goswamis, they all worship deities, and they established temples. So why is that? Because in some way we can say that just chanting Hare Krishna is good enough. Actually, by just chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can actually attain perfection. But then, in order to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we should become qualified, at least by developing some sattva guna and chanting in a proper way. And for that we need to uplift and purify our consciousness, and Pancharattika Vidhi is helping with that. Because if you follow rules and regulations of deity worship, then you have to be clean, you have to be punctual. Speaking of punctuality, Hare Krishna. Usually we are always in time, okay? We are in Switzerland. Switzerland means, like chocolate, cows, and Swiss watches. So we are very punctual. This morning was very unusual. Actually, I don't remember when this happened like that. I've been here for some time. Anyhow, but yeah, of course we are human beings and things can happen. We are not like machines. But still, Vaidhi or Pancharakshara Vidhi is a process of temple worship, and that requires cleanliness, punctuality. It requires sattva guna. So by engaging in temple worship, then one raises his consciousness to the platform of sattva guna, and one will become qualified to actually perform devotional service properly. And it's also described these two Pancharattika Vidhi and Bhagavad Marga is like two track of a rail, like the railway. A train is running on two. How you say track? Yeah, track. Yeah, Gleise. And so similarly, our spiritual progress is also running on these two paths, Pancharattika Vidhi and Bhagavad Vidhi, the Bhagavad Marga. And it's also said that the Gayatri mantra actually can help us to free ourselves from the bondage of material existence, can give us liberation, and the holy name is that which actually gives us pure love of God, prem. But the Gayatri supports. The Gayatri supports us to become free from attachment in the material world, and then the holy name will give us that pure love, which is the ultimate goal. So in this way, and also initiation, we accept first initiation, second initiation, or we chant Harinam and then the mantra which is given as the Gayatri mantra. And so Brahmanas, those who receive second initiation, they chant 3 times a day the Gayatri mantra. And while the Maha mantra is a very open mantra which is given to everyone, that was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because before Mahaprabhu even the Hare Krishna mantra was considered to be a mantra that only qualified people like the Brahmanas would chant. But then Mahaprabhu went out and on the streets, and of course he distributed the holy name. But the Gayatri mantra, it's a mantra that only Brahmanas recite. And even in our movement, although Prabhupada, he didn't he very freely distributed the Maha mantra, but the Gayatri was something like, it's also in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, is considered to be a secret mantra, or a mantra that is not openly pronounced. I mean, here in this purport, Prabhupada says, Om Bhurbhuvasva Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. So it's kind of mentioned, but of course the Gayatri mantra has, we chant, there is that Brahma Gayatri that we chant, and then is also Guru Gayatri and Gaura Gayatri and Krishna Gayatri. So there are several mantras. It takes about 5 minutes to recite this mantra, and of course we do that 3 times a day, morning, noon and evening. So now what Prabhupada says here, that by chanting Gayatri mantra one worships the sun god, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? Does it mean that all the Brahmanas in our Hare Krishna movement, they do demigod worship? And they worship the sun god? So let's have a look at this. because Prabhupada says all these planetary systems are controlled by Savita. Savita, the sun god. And so who is that Savita? When we look at the Brahma Gayatri mantra, Om Bhu Bhuva Sva, let us meditate on the worshipable effulgence of the Divine Sun who enthuses our meditation. And so who is Savita? Who is the sun god Savita? After having been initiated in the Brahma Gayatri mantra, Srila Prabhupada disciples naturally ask the same question. Since we worship Sri Krishna as the Supreme Lord, why would we address the sun god in the Brahma Gayatri? Who is actually being referred by Savitur? One disciple wrote Srila Prabhupada for clarification and received the following illuminating answer. Prabhupada says, the meaning of the first mantra is, I meditate on the sun god who is maintaining the three worlds. Savitur is the name of the sun god, but the greatest Savitur is Krishna. Therefore, it is meditation on Krishna, who is the master of all cosmic manifestation. So, although the Sanskrit can be understood as saying sun god, as a Gaudiya Vaishnava, when we chant Gayatri mantra, we meditate not on the sun god, but we meditate on the god beyond the sun god. Not on Surya, but on Surya Narayan. That is said, Surya Narayan is the original sun god or the source of the sun god, Narayan. And then also, if you look at the rule of Sanskrit grammar, the word Savita can refer to any of the following. It can mean the Brahman effulgence, okay, the sun also, fire, our consciousness, conscious nature as Jiva, souls, intelligence, Saraswati Devi, Agni Dev, Surya Dev, Surya Narayan, or Paramatma. So these are all different ways you can translate Savitur from Sanskrit. And therefore Prabhupada's explanation is completely in line with Shastra, that Savitur can also refer to Surya Narayan or the original sun god, which is Krishna. So therefore when we chant Gayatri, of course we meditate upon Krishna. Yes. And of course the meditation, there's a whole science behind this Gayatri. And I'm reading here from this book, the Gayatri book by His Holiness Satchidananda Maharaj. So those who are interested, they can learn many things. For example here, Sridhar Maharaj, in this case the god brother of Prabhupada, comments on the Gayatri, and it says this Bhuvaloka gives different explanation on how the bodily chakra and the 7 lokas, like the 7 islands or the seventh, here can be described also as 7 chakras. But what is important for us, the meditation, meditating on divine Son of Krishna, which has arisen and spread light through the lower Bhu, upper Bhuv and higher Sva planetary system. May that divine light also inspire and enlighten my own small universe consisting of body, mind and intellect. That's basically the meaning. Because this word Bhu, Bhuva and Sva refers to the planetary system, the lower, the upper and the higher, or the middle. And what is described here, that basically there is a universe with different planetary system, but then also in our own body, our own body is also like a little universe, we can say. And then we have the 7 chakras which are lower chakra, middle, and then higher chakra. But in any case, the meditation is that we meditate about the divine sun of Krishna, which illuminates the whole universe. And then here we have the famous shloka from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Surya Samamaya Haya Andakara Yahar Krishna Tahan Mani Mayara Adhikara. That Krishna is compared to the sunshine and Maya is compared to darkness. Wherever there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. As soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion will immediately vanish. So when there is light, there is sun, there cannot be darkness. And Maya is like darkness, so where there is Krishna, there can be no Maya. So similarly, chanting this Gayatri mantra, we meditate that let the Krishna sun illuminate my consciousness, my heart, and let all the illusion be dissipated by the sun of Krishna consciousness. So that's the meaning of this. And when Prabhupada says, by chanting the Gayatri mantra, just after rising early in the morning, one worships the sun god, then yeah, there is a deeper meaning, and this we just explored a little bit. Now, when it comes to chanting mantras, then any kind of mantra we chant, of course, it requires certain attention and a proper mood to chant these mantras in order to get the desired result, right? Because these mantras are very powerful, but they can only, they only manifest their potency if we chant them in a proper state of mind. If we chant in a neglectful way or with offenses, then the mantras don't fully give the benediction they could give. I remember when I received the Gayatri mantra from my spiritual master, the first couple of times when I chanted the mantra, I felt like sitting on a flying carpet or something, like wow. It was like I felt like, wow, this is such a powerful mantra. And after some time, some months, some years passed by. Oh, I have to chant Gayatri. Oh, let's get it done. And it can become a very mechanical thing. It can become very mechanical. You just do it because you have to do it. But the thing is, we anyway do it, so why not doing it properly, isn't it? Because we anyway spend the time. The same is for chanting Hare Krishna mantra. No? Most of us chant 16 rounds every day, isn't it? So 16 rounds takes 1.5 to 2 hours a day of meditation. And every day we spend 2 hours chanting the mantra. And sometimes we chant attentively and sometimes we chant unattentively. But we only get the real benefit if you chant attentively. So why not if you already spent 2 hours with the mantra, why not do it attentively? Because then we get the whole benefit. Otherwise, we're just wasting our time. And this requires every single day, we need to remind us of this and really give attention to the proper chanting of mantra. Because otherwise, we're wasting our time. We know that chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, there is 3 levels. There is Nam Aparad, there is Nam Bhas, and there is Shuddhanam, right? Nam Aparad is, we chant the holy name, but we chant with offenses. And that means the holy name is not really manifesting. Although the holy name is always non-different from Krishna, holy name is full of his potencies. But if we chant in a wrong mood or consciousness, then Krishna is not willing to manifest. And then there is Nambhas, which refers to it's kind of the example which is given is like in the early morning, the first sun, like the sun is rising. We don't see the sun yet, but it already becomes illuminated, and the darkness is already dissipating, right? So that's kind of the Nam-Bhas stage. We have not yet fully chanted the proper pure name of the Lord, but we try our best to chant attentively. So whenever we chant attentively with full concentration, and that's called Nam-Bhas. And Sri Satchidananda Maharaj, he gives the example of taking a shower. You know, every morning we take a shower, and so there is water is coming from the, how you call it? Yeah, you know what I mean? So imagine you go into the shower and the water is coming down, but you're standing next to the shower. Can you get clean just standing next to the water? Unlikely, right? You have to go underneath the water to become clean, right? I mean, it's common sense. So chanting Nam-Bhas, chanting with attention, means to standing underneath the water and get purified. But chanting Nam Aparat means to stand next to the water and not going underneath the water. That means there is no purification. So, yeah, if we chant in such a way, so that's why we better chant attentively, because as soon we chant attentively, then the purification is taking place. But if we chant spaced out, as we say, without attention, then not much is happening actually. We're only chanting some syllables. So this is also what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would used to say, that the name, the holy name, it's not so easy to actually access the holy name properly. Let me see here. I'll just read from here. This is again from Satchidananda Maharaj. Don't we all know how it feels to be restless while chanting? We feel dry and nothing seems to happen. But then, in other times, the chanting is just so wonderful that we don't want to leave the kirtan. How is it we experience both of these realities while chanting? So, Maharaj makes the point. Sometimes we chant the holy name and it feels very dry, very difficult. And sometimes we chant the holy name, we feel like, wow, there's so much nectar. No? I'm sure you have to make this experience that you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. You don't want to stop, you just want to continue, because you feel so much bliss, you feel so connected with Krishna. And other times you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna. Ah, finally I'm done. And you throw your bead back in the corner. Done it. As Prabhupada once sarcastically would say, take your bead back, hang it. Said, now I can do any damn thing. I have completed my rounds. So why is that? How is it that sometimes we chant with so much taste, and sometimes we chant with hardly any taste? By Krishna's free will. In the first example, Krishna is absent, and in the second example, Krishna is beginning to ever so slightly reveal himself. So it's Krishna who reveals himself to us in his name, and it's Krishna who is doing so. And Krishna has a free will. He can either reveal himself or he can just hide himself. That's completely up to Krishna, and we don't have much influence in it. Of course, we can endeavor. We can try to, have the proper consciousness and then pray and cry for that mercy that Krishna is manifesting. That we can do. But it's up to Krishna to reveal himself or not. And so then we have this analogy. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur uses the analogy of a medicinal capsule to drive home the point. A capsule carries an active ingredient in powder form that is contained within its plastic-like outer shell. The exterior layer makes it possible for the medicine to reach the stomach. From there, the medicine is absorbed and spreads its effects throughout the body. An empty capsule would not have the same effect. So, yeah. You get the point. There is a capsule, inside there is medicine. And what is more important, the capsule or the medicine? The medicine, which is important, right? So in the same way, our chanting either evokes Krishna's purifying presence or not. Since Krishna is only attracted to service mentality of the devotee, chanting without bhakti does not attract his presence. He is not within such mantra. They are like empty medicine capsules with no or much effect. So, in other words, if we just chant Hare Krishna, 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 then this is just empty words. But if these words are in connection with feeling, with bhakti, with devotion, then these words actually, Krishna actually manifests in these words as the holy name. That's why the material tongue, a materialist actually cannot chant the holy name. The material tongue actually cannot really pronounce or chant the holy name. It requires that devotion. And of course, we know that Nam Pas, because the holy name is very merciful. This is also described in the Bhagavatam. That sometimes if people just chant the holy name out of joke, or by chance, or even by trying to insult Vaishnavas, by making fun out of it, the name still has some potency. It doesn't show the full potency. What is the full potency? That one gets Krishna Prem, pure love of God. But even on a platform of Nambas, some benefit is given, some purification or some kind of mercy is given to the conditioned soul. And of course the example of the story of Ajamil is given, right? Ajamil, he was originally a Brahmana by birth, but then he went to the forest. We know the story. In the forest he met one prostitute and a young man, and they embracing each other, and he felt very attracted, and his material desires kind of came up. And then finally he actually left his own wife, and he got engaged with this prostitute, and he lived his whole life with the prostitute, and he had many children with the prostitute, and he spent his whole life in sinful activities. So he lived a very sinful life. And at the age of 88, he still had a son, which was 5 years old. That means at the age of 83, he still begot a son. So he was very lusty, very much engaged in sex life, up to the point that he even had sex at the age of 83. So, but then when the time of death came, the Yamadutas, who are the messenger of death, they wanted to come and take his soul to bring it to Yamaraj, so the Yamaraj can nicely punish Ajamil for his sinful activity. But then he called out, because he was afraid, and then he called out to his son, which by chance happened, Narayan. So he called it Narayan, Narayan. And therefore the Vishnudutas also came, the messenger of Lord Vishnu. And they prevented the Yamadutas to take the soul with them, because they said, wait a minute, yes, this Ajamil was sinful, But just now, at the time of death, he chanted the name of Narayan, and therefore he's free from all sins. And then, of course, they were arguing with each other. What is this? Like. But then the Vishnudutas explained that the holy name is so powerful, it always has an effect. Some effect is always there. Just like medicine, the similar example is given. If you have a headache and you take some painkiller, it's not required that you know exactly the ingredient or how it works in the body. You just take the medicine and you will get relieved from the headache. You don't need to know how the medicine works in order for the medicine gets a result. Or fire always burns. Like if a small child comes to a fire, it's not that the fire will say, oh, this is a small child, I will not burn. No, fire always burns. So similarly, the holy name always has an effect, some effect. And that's the level of Nambhas, where even if innocent people who are just somehow come in contact with the holy name, they get a benefit. Sometimes, in India you have these dramas. Someone plays Narada Muni, Narayan, Narayan, and people watch the drama. They get benefit because they hear the word Narayan. Or sometimes we are at the lake, we do kirtan, and some people, these Hare Krishnas. Better you get a job and do some proper work in your life. So they may but still when they say the name Hare Krishna, they get some benefit. And it says even if the syllable of the holy name, Hare Krishna or Rama, even if they are separated, there's a benefit. There is an example. Barack Obama. There is the Ra and there is the Ma is there, so Rama. There's a benefit. And of course, people also say, there in Germany we have a butter margarine, which is called Rama. So millions of German people, when they take breakfast in the morning, can you give me the Rama? They make progress. Or in Switzerland we have a company which sells furniture like IKEA. They called Confo Rama. Let's go to the Confo Rama and get some new sofa, new chair. The people make spiritual benefit by saying Confo Rama. So that's the compassion or the mercy of the holy name. Now, but for us as devotees who chant the holy name, we want to attain a certain goal, and that's the pure love of God. And for that, we need to chant Shuddhanam, the pure name. And we should not be satisfied by the results, because this Nambhas, this chanting on the middle platform, can give a lot of benefits. It's described in scripture that just chanting Nambhas can give all the planetary influence can be destroyed. So sometimes we are concerned, oh my God, now my Mahadasha in the Vedic astrology, now I'm entering the Mahadasha of Rahu. And for many years I will be in Rahu, Mahadasha, and I will have or my Shani, my Saturn, is giving me some trouble in my life. And of course we are under the influence of these planets. It's not a joke, that's actually there. These planets this is according to our previous past life activities, according to our karma. We get happiness and suffering in this life, and it's all directed by the planets. But it's said that if one chants Shuddhanam properly, the influence of the planetary systems of these planets can be overcome. So that's the power of the holy name, just Nambhas. And also all the ill effects of Kali Yuga can be overcome just by chanting Nambhas. And one even can attain liberation, moksha, as is evident with Ajamil. Of course, Ajamil got a second chance, and then he also performed sadhana bhakti, and then he got perfection. But he was liberated from sin by chanting Nambas. So, but we strive for pure love, which is a higher goal. It's like if you plant a mango tree. What goal do you want to achieve? What is the ultimate goal of that tree, or planting the tree, is to get nice mango, right? So the tree has many other effects. The tree also gives leaf. The tree gives shade. You know, you can lay beyond the tree and enjoy the shade of the tree. But that's just a side effect. The actual goal is the phala, is the fruit. So similarly, when chanting the holy name, yes, holy name may give us liberation, may give us prosperity and all success in our life, but the actual goal of the holy name, the actual fruit that the holy name can give, is prema phala, the fruit of pure love of God. That's what we are meant to cultivate. And therefore, we should chant very attentively, and we should chant also with from our heart, because that prem only manifests when we chant Shuddhanam. And yeah, actually, time is up, but I will just end with this. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also recommends that we should chant with Sambandha. Chant with Sambandha means we should chant, Sambandha means connection, we should chant with a connection to Krishna. That when I chant the holy name, that I remember this name is no different from Krishna, and when I chant this name, I actually want to establish my connection with Krishna very consciously. So chanting in Sambandha means to chant with a feeling of relationship to Krishna. It means to know deeply from the heart that you chant, that you are an eternal soul, and that Krishna is your master. Only if you have this attitude, can you experience the real holy name. Sambandha also means chant prayerfully while contemplating of the meaning of the mantra. And the meaning of the mantra is, Krishna, please accept me. You know? Please engage me in your service. Prabhupada gave the short version, means please accept me. Just please let me again be connected with you and engaged in your service. And His Holiness Satyananda Maharaj often says that this is the unique, distinguished factor of the Hare Krishna devotees when we chant the mantra. Because many people chant mantras, isn't it? You know, nowadays many people in the yoga scene, they also chant different mantras. But that which makes a difference is if you chant with that personal connection to Krishna. You know, Krishna, I want to connect with you, I want to be connected with you. So that's also the best. You know, there's many tricks to improve one's chanting. You can sit properly, you can do breathing exercises. You can have a card with the Maha Mantra in front of you and read the name Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But the ultimate trick is to just chant from the heart, and then everything will be anyway properly done. Okay, so these are some thoughts. I thought we can talk about this. As Priyavrata rides with his chariot behind the sun and creates the 7 islands, Prabhupada hints or speaks about the Gayatri Mantra, which refers to Surya Narayan, and the meditation is that we invite Krishna to appear in our heart, to, you know, manifest the sun of Krishna consciousness in our being, so that we can drive away all darkness. And while we chant the Gayatri Mantra, we chant, of course, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And if we do both, chanting Gayatri and Maha Mantra, then if we do it properly, with chanting attentively, we can attain all perfections. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Any comments or questions? Hare Krishna.
Very important for me because in 19 this month I will take this second initiation.
Oh, very good.
And before this trip, actually, I was reading the book Sachinandana Maharaj Gayatri.
Yeah.
And also this verse I was read together in Bhakti Vaibhava. I also pay attention at the end of this.
Okay.
And now you talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, one more time I have to remember me, what I'm doing and for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So thank you very much
Nice.
that you're sharing your experience also, and then we take it. It's really nice and it's important to hear such things. Because it stays forever in heart, this experience.
Thank you. Thank you. Krishna.
You have a phone?
Yeah.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave for once this message for Harinam in this Yuga time. But also they written in the book Srila Prabhupada that there are 9 methods for devotees service.
Как нам это совместить? Можем ли мы сосредоточиться на каком-то одном, или нам нужно все эти методы куда-то принести совершенно?
How can we to do it together? We should concentrate our consciousness of one of this method, or we should to do all of these methods of only concentrating in our spiritual life.
Okay. Yes, there's nine processes of devotional service. Should we focus on one of them or all of them? And also the Yuga Dharma is actually the chanting of the Maha Mantra. Yeah. Yeah, there is 9. I mean, it's described these 9 processes of devotional service, and of course, Srila Rupa Goswami, in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, not only gives 9, but gives 64 processes of devotional service. The Bhagavatam, with the words of Prahlad, speaks of 9 processes, which is a general category. But then Rupa Goswami gives even more explanation and speaks of 64 items or angas of devotional service. And we are meant to perform all of them as much as we can. The more we can engage in these different activities, the better. And it's described when we speak of the 9 processes of devotional service. There is different personalities who attain perfection just performing it by one of them. So we don't have to perform all of them. Like Ambarish Maharaj, he's an example who engaged in all 9 of them. He was completely engaged. But there is other examples who just focus on one and they get perfection just by one. We know like Shukadev and Parikshit, they got perfection by hearing and chanting. Then Prahlad Maharaj got perfection by remembering Krishna. All the difficult situation he faced, he always remembered Krishna. So just by remembering, he attained perfection. And then what else we have? Who attained perfection with Vandanam prayers? That's usually the hard one. Akrura. Akrura offered prayers to Krishna. When Akrura took Krishna on a chariot, Krishna and Balaram to Mathura, on the way they stopped at the Yamuna, took a bath, and then in the Yamuna, Krishna revealed himself in his Mahavishnu Narayan Anantashesh form, and Akrura offering prayers, glorifying the Lord with his Virat Rup form. So by these prayers, Akrura attained perfection. And then Prithu Maharaj attained perfection by Archanam, worship, and Hanuman got perfection, Lakshmi perfection by serving the lotus feet, Hanuman by engaging in the mission, Arjuna by friendship, and Bali by surrendering his self, Atmani Vedanam. So these are examples, they just focus on one principle and they attain perfection. Nevertheless, the chanting of the holy name is considered to be the prime process, especially in the age of Kali, and therefore we all should engage in chanting the holy name. Rupa Goswami also speaks of the 5 most potent forms: living in a holy name, hearing Bhagavatam in the association of devotees, sadhusanga, worshipping the deity, and then also chanting the holy name. And these are very powerful methods, which even in the neophyte devotee can awaken bhava, or love of Godhead. So they're very potent. So and of course Prabhupada was very kind, because Prabhupada gave us the morning program in the temples and our sadhana bhakti, our daily practice. And if you just follow what Prabhupada gave us, we actually engage in most of these processes. And just by following that program, we can make very rapid progress in devotional service. But yeah, chanting should always be there. And then other processes according to our nature, our inclination, our possibilities. Okay, then we will end here. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Thai Go Premanande, Hari Go.